Pekka, welcome. Thanks for sitting down with me.
It's a pleasure.
And Pekka, earlier this year, in July this year, the EU Commission came out with its proposal for NGTs, new genomic techniques. And you, as representative of the EU farmers, what is your take on the proposal?
We very much welcome the Commission proposal because, well, no big surprise. This has been in the making for past 10 years or so for a good number of reasons. But then we very much welcome the Commission proposal as such because we felt that it would make a heck of a difference to the European common market. It would eliminate some of the risky distortional competition that we see within the EU and with third countries. It would actually be much more science-based. We see that there is a good opportunity to underline that we have to do what science actually tells us. It's very much about the existing good elements, and in particular, in this respect, we welcome the link with the propagation material, forest propagation material part of the package. Mm-hmm. And we feel that it would enable us to make the necessary investment in the whole agri-food value chain and taking into account the specific interests of the seed sector, of course.
But okay, explain me one thing. Is there at all a need to change the current regulation? What's wrong with the, let's say, old regulation?
Well, we feel very strongly that we need an update because the technology has gone forward. We learned a valuable lesson, which is not always very pleasant in terms of the previous round in biotech. And then we need to tackle that. We need to take a look into what we can do better. We have to make sure that certain developments, especially mutagenesis side, which is something that we are terribly interested, must be developed in a way that it actually can deliver the benefits of the goods that we actually expect from that sector. And clearly, if I simplify a bit, we could say that the legislation was not up to date. Mm-hmm. We needed to make a revision, but then the importance also is that while we make the revision, we need to safeguard what is valuable for European seed sector and for our genetic material improvement. And that's a big thing for us because we strongly feel that we need to maintain and improve and strengthen our global stance, our leadership. With North American partners of ours, we still dominate world trade, and we are not going to let that go away.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Move forward and not backwards, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, very important. So now, but this is merely a proposal by the EU Commission. It will now enter into a review and discussion phase with Parliament, with Council, and ultimately all three need to come to an agreement of the final proposal. If you had a say in it, and I believe you do, what additional changes would you like to see in the proposal?
Of course, there are several technical, smaller details that we need to address. It's very much about the process itself. Mm. How do we interpret the proposal, and how should we, if there are limitations, how do these limitations affect the actual process? It's very much about how we measure how many changes can we put into each of the DNA, basically, and then how do we interpret that? We feel that we have to respect the natural reasoning and natural need that we had in certain crops, for instance, where we need to change more. In some crops, you have, in order to reach for drought tolerance, you most probably have to make more changes than in some other. And we need to enable that. So technically speaking, we need to revisit some of those technical requirements, whether they would actually enable us to do the necessary that everybody wants. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then, of course, we need to make sure that the labeling requirements are up to date in a sense that they do not create additional barrier. And by this, I mean that when we take a look into the proposal, perhaps we should put emphasis on the existing registration and registers at national EU level, rather than going for the labeling to the farms that was foreseen, because we see this as a risky element to once again increase cost and consequently make it harder for the operators, especially in our case farmers, to implement the new technologies.
Yeah, I believe there's also a bit of a challenge on the organic side, where farmers are not allowed to use the gene-edited crops. And how do you feel? How do your members feel about that?
Well, we have a strong organic working party in our organization, and we have had extensive discussion. And I think the general approach that we would like to propose to the institutions is that let's leave it to the organic sector itself. Because why do we have to have the belt and the braces to keep the pants up? I don't think it's a good idea to regulate organic outside the actual organic regulation. And so we feel that in case the organic sector needs some of these technologies at some stage, it's completely up to them. We need to make sure that this is feasible and we can actually do it. But then adding another administrative layer to this to prohibit things would most probably make it certain that they will never be able to benefit from these technologies, and we never know what happens in the future. And that's where the organic sector itself should be able to decide what they do.
Still some good discussions ahead. You're not alone. I know that Euroseeds thinks very much alike. So you have a good partner there. Good luck in the discussions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pekka.
Fighting continues.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Pekka.
Thank you so much.